What's up, people? I could swear that I was playing tag with a cat earlier when I was walking back home. Like, I saw a cat in a distance. It was just sitting there, and the closer I got to it, when it was really close, the cat he didn't run away quickly, but he just sort of hopped away. It wasn't walking, but it's like between walking and running, I guess. But so he just sort of galloped away. I don't know what else to fucking call it. And then when there was like enough distance for him, he looked back at me, just kept looking back at me while I was walking closer as well. And then when I got to like this specific distance towards him, he started doing the same thing over and over again. So he was like one of those, one of those kids probably all the way back in elementary school, those annoying kids that think he's faster than everyone and then teases you with it, sort of like, haha, you can't catch me, and then he's gonna stand still, and then when you're almost there, almost close enough to tag him, then he's gonna run away again. The cat sort of felt like that guy. So although I didn't even know I was playing tag with it, when I got home just now, I just sort of thought like, huh, did that really just happen? That kind of reminded me of tag. But anyway, yeah, we are here with more Eden. I apologize once again for having to end the previous video abruptly, but I kind of sort of had to. But we are back here again, and I believe Levi asked for our gun, so prepare your ears again. In the previous video I actually added like a warning for headphone users, which is sort of what I wear earbuds, so if Levi is gonna shoot again, just cover your ears, be prepared, that's all I'm saying. I pulled back on the slide once and placed it in her hand. Thanks. Here we go. Well, I expected this. What? She has like that cool way of holding a gun where you hold it sideways, but from the picture it actually looks like she's pointing it towards Ryou. What? Levi took the gun I handed her, then deliberately turned it back on me. Didn't anyone ever teach you not to point a gun at someone on the shooting range? Sorry, but I was thrown into combat without sufficient training. How unexpected. Same here. We both dropped silent and stared each other down. The muzzle was aimed straight at my brow. Levi's slender figure was resting on the trigger, and of course, the safety was off. There was no way I could dodge at this range. Death was so close, I could taste it. Yet, I was so calm, it actually shocked me. I didn't even shake. You're a strange one. I don't think you're one to talk. At least get a little scared, or are you confident you could pull something off in this situation? Well, I have no intention of dying here. Besides, why should I be scared when I know you won't pull the trigger? Are you daring me? Haha. Levi gave a brief laugh and lowered the barrel. Yeah, you're not that far off. For now, I'll put in some time at the range and give some thought as to who's important to me in my life. It's not bad to take a look back once in a while. Hey, Warrant Officer Haruna. Yes? I'm actually a pretty bad shot. Since you were at the training academy recently, think you could give me some pointers? It's not really my forte, but we are buddies after all. Thanks, I appreciate it. I stood beside her as she smiled a little. As I observed her posture, it occurred to me. At the very least, Levi seemed more trustworthy than the Major. Alright, well, I'm guessing the expected didn't happen. I was really expecting her to shoot the gun. Like, not shoot at Ryou, of course, but like, I thought that she would at least shoot at one of those target dummies or whatever was hanging on the wall. But we were wrong, so my ears are happy about that. I devoted the whole morning to practice. In the afternoon, I took care of an errand and returned to my room. When I returned, I had nothing particular to do and flopped down on my bed. This is how it should be, huh? I couldn't say for sure if she was correct, but Levi firmly believed that she was. She was trying to believe in it. We were soldiers, so we could do anything the major major ordered us to, and would kill anyone, no matter who they may be it a colleague or civilian, anyone. That's how people like Levi and I have always done things. I shut my eyes. I was on the night shift tonight, so I guessed I should sleep while I could, even if it was only a little. Ryou, are you here? Alicia-chan, come in. I roused myself from the bed. Alicia came into the room, carrying that old-fashioned radio in her arms. Oh my, were you sleeping? Not at all. Never mind that. Why did you come to see me all of a sudden? Alicia hadn't come to my room since she'd first guided me to it. What do you mean? Of course it would be about this. She presented the radio in her hands to me. It's not fixed. It was fixed just fine, but why did you not bring it to me directly? No particular reason. In the end, I asked the passing soldier to bring the repaired radio back to her last night. The truth was, I did have a good reason. I cannot properly thank you if you do not bring it back to me yourself now, can I? That's why I didn't do it. Although I could have gone to see her easily, it would have been kind of awkward to hand over the radio and be thanked. Honestly, you are one incomprehensible man. But thank you very much. Now I can listen to it again. She gave me a great big smile. Don't worry about it. May I sit over there? She pointed at the bed, and I nodded. Please excuse me then. Of course, like a true gentleman, we sit in the other chair right across from her. I took a seat on the sofa myself. You are really handy, aren't you, Ryou? Even though I fixed it, you can't possibly get good reception here. Are there even any broadcast stations left on Earth? Government broadcasts generally make it through, and sometimes a few commercial broadcasts from some stations will come out in spurts. Occasionally, a satellite will pass over, and some radio waves from space will reach it. It is quite splendid. Ah, I see. Oh, and one more thing. Stay the hell away from Sion. No, that's not what she's gonna say. She smiled and presented a package to me. What's this? Have you eaten lunch yet? Not yet. Actually, I guess I didn't eat breakfast either. I went to the shooting range as soon as I woke up, so breakfast completely slipped my mind. That is no good. The body is an asset to a soldier. You must eat properly. I know. So please, eat this. It is but a meager expression of my gratitude. It was a sandwich. Oh yeah. Egg, ham, lettuce with cucumber and salmon, huh? I'll graciously accept. Yes, please do. I stuffed my cheeks with a mouthful of the sandwich. Oh, this is pretty good. Oh? What do you mean, oh? I was being glared at. I was joking. I'm not very good at giving genuine compliments. No, it really is delicious. When I said that as seriously as I could, her mood quickly changed. Thank you very much. But I may have made too little for a man. It's plenty, but I didn't think you were doing the cooking as well. I cook every day. I prepare Sion's meals. You don't just carry food from the dining hall? Or carry in? No, I make it myself. There's a chance that the dining hall food could be poisoned. Huh. Then why am I eating from it, huh? She just said something outrageous ever so casually. But I supposed it wasn't unexpected. Have things like that happened before? It has been attempted only once. As Sion's intuition is particularly sharp, we got by without further ado. Some people do prefer more traditional methods after all. Come to think of it, you mentioned you used to be in the special forces. Do you know how to deal with poisonings? Poison is out of my range of expertise. The art of assassination was drilled into me when I joined GAT, but I was only taught the fundamental varieties of poisons and how to counteract them. Aren't you just supposed to like suck it out, and then obviously you suck it out and you spit it out? Because you're not gonna suck out the poison that's in your body to then bring it back into your body again, right? But I watched it a few times, I believe, on like Animal Planet or something like that, where if you are bit by a snake and there's no one in the proximity, and because with snake bites you need to get to the hospital like ASAP before you actually like just die from the poison. At least it depends on the type of snake and the poison, of course, but I'm almost certain that if there's no hospital or anything doctor nearby, then the best course of action and to hope for survival is to just suck out the poison yourself, which sounds really strange, but yeah. Luckily I won't have to do that, as there are no snakes here. Yeah. I'd be hard pressed to say I knew enough to teach others. Wait, didn't you say this was a safe place? It is a safe place for you. Nobody really comes near you anyway, right? Could you not have a smile on your face while you talk about how disliked I am? It was true that only Lavi, Alicia, and Major Inaba conversed with me directly. All the other soldiers and staff tended to keep their distance. It was like this while I was in GAT and at the training academy as well. But it was especially brutal here. I secretly suspect the Major might be running his mouth to everyone. That is quite possible. He does go around and harass people for no good reason. One time, the maid uniform I had in my dresser was switched out with a sailor uniform. Oh yeah, he just wanted you to cosplay Sailor Moon. So, what did you do? I still wore it. I knew it. The Major was who he was, but the maid had quite a few issues as well. Well, he is indeed the sort to spare no effort when he teases you. Don't give me that. I'm fine with being ignored, but I won't stand for any unjustified resentment being thrown my way. This wasn't exactly a normal workplace. Most of the people walking around here were carrying guns. It will be okay, Ryou. I still like you. Thank you. It was a questionable comment that seemingly came out of nowhere, but I decided not to linger on it. Besides, if anyone tried to attack you, there is no doubt they will have the tables turned on them. There is no guarantee of that. I'm not some superhero out of a manga. No, I'm a superhero out of a visual novel. I'd be out cold if someone struck me from behind. You cannot simply get a zing and sense their presence. What exactly is a zing? You say you are from the Special Forces, but you are relatively normal. What exactly were you expecting out of the Special Forces? Mildly surprised, I stuffed more sandwich into my mouth. Delicious sandwich. Members of the Special Forces might know some uncommon combat techniques, and may have a little more stamina, but we were no super soldiers. There were, of course, also times where members had died of the dullest things. In that case, shall I expect it of you? Expect it of me? Alicia smiled and pressed the switch on the radio, but all we could hear was soft static. My, the reception does appear to be poor, and after you went through the trouble of fixing it. I have a favorite radio program, but I rarely get to listen to it. Alicia. Yes? No matter what you expect of me, I can't do anything. I'm the kind of person who can only do as ordered. That is not quite right, is it? She smiled kindly and shook her head gently. You tried to protect me, didn't you? Huh, she's right. Was that not of your own free will? Your innate kindness? It wasn't as if I put any profound thought into trying to protect her last night. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a lapse in judgment, but it did seem impulsive of me. If things really turned dangerous, I may have abandoned you and escaped alone. Lies. That is without a doubt a lie. She gently brushed her wrist. When you squeezed my hand, Ryou, it suddenly occurred to me. This is a person who would risk their life to protect someone. You're overestimating me. Your eyes were gentle at that time. I was actually quite afraid of you, so much that it sometimes felt like I was paralyzed when I looked into your eyes. That's a normal reaction. I've killed too many people, more than I can count. I'm not capable of being a decent person. There was no need to be. In order to take the lives of others, you must first kill your own heart. Wow. I mean, that has some truth to it, of course. But that sounds so... Dang, I don't even know. That is where it all begins. No, you can still retrace your steps. Your kind self is still within you. You are someone who should retrace your steps. Why? For Natsume's sake as well. Who's Natsume? An ear-piercing shriek rang in my ears. The deafening hum rattled my psyche so much so that I felt like the world was about to shatter around me. Did Major Inaba tell you that? No. I knew Natsume. That's probably our sister, right? She was a precious friend. You don't have any further business with me, correct? I crumpled up the now empty paper bag. I'm on the night shift tonight. I'd like to get some sleep, so he's just sending her away. Probably because Natsume is like a sensitive subject for him, I'm guessing. Ah, sorry. I apologize for intruding on you for so long. She picked up the radio and bowed quickly. Good night then. Yeah, the sandwich was delicious. Thank you very much. She bowed once more and quietly left the room. She knew Natsume? My mind slowly devolved into chaos. Wait, why hadn't I pressed the question? She knew Natsume. I couldn't ignore what she said. No, ignoring it was impossible. Sis, Natsume was my sister. And 7 years ago, she was taken away. I hadn't seen her since. We'll probably never meet again. I still remember how somber her voice was as she said that. Alicia was walking the corridor, thinking over those words she had suddenly remembered. Which side would Ryou Haruna take? It had been on her mind for a while now, but it appeared as if the question had come forth on its own. He hadn't forgotten about Natsume. His memories had surely distorted over the past several years, and they were likely fading little by little, but a shadow of Natsume still remained in Ryou Haruna's heart. Thank goodness. Those words accidentally escaped her lips. They were directed both at her and towards herself. Ryou Haruna. Just maybe he could... Suddenly there was a snag in her step. She placed a hand on the wall, braced herself, and somehow maintained her balance. Oh my! What am I doing? Her breathing was labored. Sweat ran across her forehead and back. How troubling! Now of all times! I have yet to take in the laundry, too. Alicia smiled nonetheless. It was almost a point of pride for her, who had resolved to smile no matter what. What's going on with her? Why was I in such a place? I leaned against the wall and pondered. The sound of Sion striking her keyboard. Come on. The sound of Sion striking her keyboard was all that could be heard in this room, which could not be called all too spacious. Click, 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 click. Dang, look at her setup. She got one more monitor than I do. And my second one is dying as well, so... Her slender white hands continued moving, never halting. I wonder... Yes? No, it's nothing. Did I disturb you? You're fine. What I'm doing right now doesn't require much thought. Sion did not stop typing as she answered. So, I'm guessing because of the fact that we met Sion, or that she actually willingly came out to sort of, I guess, sort of meet us. I don't know if that was the exact reason, but she happened to meet us when she stepped out. I'm guessing we're sort of in the trusted circle now, that we are actually allowed to see her and actually guard her from the inside. So, yeah, special access. Sion did not stop typing as she answered. Why don't you sit down? Do you intend to keep standing like that until your shift ends in the morning? I'm fine. It's no problem. No, you should have said, oh, really? Can I lay down too? And then you're just gonna snuggle up in the bed. I responded, still leaning against the wall. In the days when I was wandering from battlefield to battlefield, there were times when I would continuously walk for 10 days while moving from one front to the next. It didn't bother me much. If you're fine, then don't talk to yourself. It's creepy. That was terribly rude of me. Yes, quite. It didn't seem like I'd be able to get used to these circumstances. My partner Levi was standing alert in the adjacent parlor as always. If you were to ask why I was alone in Sion's off-limits room, would you mind if I weren't simply talking to myself, but had a question? Anything so long as it isn't vulgar. This girl really did have a sharp tongue on her. So, what is it? Is Alicia okay? Alicia appeared to be in bad shape and was resting in a medical office. The Major had wanted me to stay by Sion's side since Alicia would be out for the night. I could not refuse when the Major requested that of me. Does this happen to her often? Almost never. She doesn't carry a physician's license, but she is trained in medicine. She can deal with most issues on her own. I see. I think this is something like a medical issue that only happens to felixes, because one of the things that was mentioned as well of Sion, right, is that her health was being questioned pretty often by Alicia, and I feel like they're both reaching sort of their, like, they may look young, but obviously they are very old, and they're at a certain point, even though they have longevity compared to normal humans, they're still gonna reach like a point where their body is just too old and they're gonna die. Something like that, I think. Sion's manner of talking was quite mechanical, like there was almost no emotion in it. It was like she had more feelings in her voice the other night, or maybe there was just more majesty to it. Wait, so you're saying that she's in such bad shape that she can't treat herself? She seems to be quite fatigued lately. Straight to the point, she didn't even seem concerned about Alicia. How unexpected. Was she the cold type? You seem quite concerned about her. Not particularly. You are. Apathetic, but she definitely said it. It would be a lie to say she wasn't on my mind, but apparently Alicia proposed to the Major that you stay in this room tonight. That was unexpected. Sion's hand suddenly stopped. I could have sworn you didn't want anyone but Alicia entering this room. Alicia seems to trust you. She was quick with her responses. So I trust you as well. That's all. She made a few taps on the keyboard and then stood up. She walked over and stood beside me. What is it? Would you like to talk a little? I don't mind, but aren't you too busy? I am, but this is a rare occasion. For someone besides Alicia and the Major to be in here? Alicia is kind to any and everyone. The staff and the soldiers here all seem fond of her. However, even if she is admired, She has never actually fallen for anyone. That's the kind of person Alicia is. That's the kind of person she has always been. You've been together since you were little, right? We've been together about 100 years now, I suppose. 100 years. Although I knew felixes enjoyed perpetual youth and longevity, it was still a surprise to actually hear it. From my point of view, 100 years was the same as an eternity. The girl before my eyes, she had lived that long? Approximately 3,000 felixes have been produced. Amongst those, around 100 with the same genetic base exist. The same? Does that mean Alicia is one of those 100? And I am as well. Although I say the base is identical, we became completely different individuals due to the genetic modifications. If the base is the same, does that make you and Alicia sisters? No, more like twins? You can see for yourself just how the modifications turned out. Sion tilted her head and looked somewhat bothered. Shion's and Alicia's physiques certainly were too different to call them twins. A felix's physical growth halts around age 20 and they do not age any further after that. Alicia grew normally as far as felixes go, but an error may have occurred in my genes, which meant her growth halted at a considerably early stage. Even though I've been alive for 100 years, the fact that children's clothes still suit me is rather amusing. Alicia's was born a little before me. Since I've also always looked this way, she enjoys playing the big sister. It can be kind of annoying. Yeah, I imagine it to be annoying if someone acts as like the big sister to you and when you're sort of the little sister for 100 freaking years, cause you're always gonna look the same, right? Because at a certain point, like even if you have an older sister or brother, when you've reached like adulthood, you don't look like that much of a child anymore, so he's not gonna treat you like, oh, you're still my little bro. In some families they still might do it, but I feel like overall that might not be the case anymore, so I can understand it from her position. I had a feeling Alicia was a bit of a big sister to everyone, personally. Alicia and I were always raised in the same place ever since. No, it's more like I was raised by her. They really did seem to have been together a very long time. Alicia said she was a maid, but she was actually a foster parent of sorts. That's why I believe what she says. I trust anyone she trusts. I don't have a poor impression of Alicia, but I don't know you very well at all. And I don't think you should trust someone like me when neither of us know each other very well either. I'm tired of doubting people. She said that without hesitation. Getting tired of it isn't the issue. It's essential to protect yourself. Or perhaps you're not afraid of getting hurt? I am. There's no such thing as someone who is not afraid of getting hurt, even if they were a god or a saint. Existing in this world, getting hurt, and fear of getting hurt, they're a set package. You cannot separate them. If you're afraid, shouldn't you at least take some precautions? It's because I know how meaningless doubt is. Trust may be just as meaningless, but it is far more comfortable than continuing to live in fear. That is why I have but two options. I can either trust or not care. You're quite apathetic towards your guards. The fact she almost never showed herself was good evidence of that. That was all the more reason I felt like it was strange to be right in front of her like this. Indeed, from my perspective, the soldiers guarding this research facility are more like prison wardens than guards. Wardens? But that's done and over with. If I cannot stop the end, if I cannot change fate, then I want to be involved in what will come. At least a little. At least, that's how I feel. What are you saying? The end? She mustn't have meant how the end of the world was drawing near, or she must have. No, we were all going to go into space before it ended. A new world would be waiting for us there. No, I see. Shouldn't you know by now? Rumors are dreadful things. I didn't really intend to hide it. It doesn't bother me if people know either. So, you're really... She didn't seem upset. Why did it seem like she might have even be enjoying herself? It wouldn't be strange if I were to die soon. Why? Why was this girl able to speak so easily about her own death? Had death become irrelevant since she'd lived such a long life? Why do you look so surprised? Because you said something surprising. Really? Well, I could see it being surprising if you were a normal person. What do you mean? She was saying I was abnormal somehow? I heard a bit of your personal history from Alicia. You wandered through quite a few battlefields in your youth, right? You must have seen quite a few people prepare to lose their lives. The battlefield is a place where death is a given, and people try frantically to survive. There is nobody who doesn't fear getting hurt, and there are certainly no people who aren't afraid of dying. The words, "I don't want to die," weren't exactly foreign to my ears. No matter how much of a big talker a soldier was going out, they always came back a frail, hollowed shell of a man after they'd been touched by the Reaper. The battlefield was a great place for whittling down egos and revealing people's true natures. Everyone is afraid of dying. Even you? She gave me a stare so serious I hadn't expected it, and feeling a bit anxious, nodded slightly. I see. So I was wrong? About what? Those days when you volunteered for the bloodiest assignments, took on the brunt of the conflicts with the terrorists who would act by any means necessary and just keep on fighting with all you had. If you weren't trying to become a hero, then... I can't think of any other reason than hurrying to your death. She was serious, but she still seemed somehow amused. Like a child who had just found a new toy. A cruel innocence was dwelling within her eyes. I'm a soldier, so I went to war as I was told. Besides, if I wanted to die, I had plenty of opportunities. I think it was your ego that wouldn't allow it, but I'll stop. Those who accept death and those who rush to die, I thought they were somehow similar, but this proved to be an unproductive conversation. Her expression vanished as she closed her mouth, but when she tried to push off from the wall, she staggered. Eh? I rushed to catch her slender shoulders. No, it was more like I caught her in my arms. Excuse me. A quiet yelp escaped her, and I apologized on reflex. But I had not yet released her. The strength had completely left her body. It's been a long time. What has? Since I've been touched by a man? No, by anyone other than Alicia. If it is unpleasant, I'll let you go right away. However, please stand up first. I'll be okay. Thank you. Her voice trailed off a little as I let her go. Her face was turning ever so slightly red. Should I call a doctor? No. This is a relatively common occurrence. I might be a little tense since you're here today. She played around with her bangs with her slender fingertips and faced me after a deep breath. Warrant Officer Haruna. Yes? Do you know why you were called here? To defend this research facility. She shook her head. This research facility will soon complete its mission. This place will soon be shut down. Ho ho ho! Oh my god! That moment between both Sion and Ryou, that hug, even though it kind of sounded like how it happened, like it sounded kind of awkward, I still think there's probably something blooming there, right? But who knows? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video when this beeping probably ends, because I'll be picking up the phone then. Alright, peace.